Right, here we go again. Today I wanted to talk to you about energy security and net zero. I believe this is so important for our country that I actually created an entirely new government department focused on it. We saw the importance of energy security when Russia invaded Ukraine. According to the independent regulator Ofgem, a typical family's energy bill would have gone up from £1,300 to almost £4,500. That underscores the importance of not being reliant on foreign sources of energy. Now, I have two young girls, you'll have kids and grandkids, and we all care deeply about their future. And that's why it's important that we also focus on net zero and making sure that we leave our planet in a better state than we found it for their sakes. So, how are we doing? Well, the good news is we've got a record that we can be proud of. According to the international data, the UK has cut emissions faster than any other major economy, halving them. How are some others doing? Well, in the EU, they've only cut them by 30%. In the US, they've barely changed. And in China, they're up by 300%. It's also worth bearing in mind that we in the UK account for less than 1% of global emissions. So given all of this, I set out a new approach, a new plan for net zero. First and foremost, this was about cutting costs for you and your family. We've got a happier house this time. The plans I inherited would have seen families forced to prematurely rip out their boiler, switch their car, or install expensive upgrades that would have cost people £5,000, £10,000 or £15,000. Now, I didn't think that was right, so we scrapped those plans. The second part of our approach was to focus on security. That means more nuclear, more offshore wind, and according to the Independent Committee for Climate Change, we're still going to need oil and gas for decades to come. So I believe it's right to focus on our resources here at home, and that means the North Sea. That's good for our energy security, good for the economy, and good for British jobs. Well, what's the alternative to our plan? Well, the Labour Party want to ban North Sea oil and gas. They want to saddle families with thousands of pounds of cost to prematurely switch out boilers, change cars, or make upgrades. And you may have heard about their £28 billion green spending promise. They were very committed to that, in spite of speculation, and then they U-turned on it, but this being Keir Starmer, it wasn't even a full U-turn, because it turns out he's still committed to the policy, he just doesn't want to talk about how much it costs. And because they don't have a plan, they can't tell you how they're going to pay for this. And that just means they would take us back to square one with higher taxes and higher energy bills. And that means a worse future for you and your family.